What did you do today? Let me have a guess. You got up to go to work, you showered, probably, hopefully. You went to work, you battled through rush hour commuters to and from work, you got home, had a couple of hours to yourself to do you, doing you. You're gonna go to bed, and guess what? You're gonna get up tomorrow and more than likely do the same thing again. You're gonna go to work, lucky you. But it's undeniable, work shapes who we are. It dictates where we live, how we spend our time, and even how we measure our own self-worth. Just think about the amount of times where someone's asked you about yourself and you said your name and what you do for a living. It's become a fundamental part of who we are, but it's also become part of a toxic conversation when used against those that don't work. Some that work feel like their tax contributions are funding people out of work to have these incredibly lavish lifestyles.
But now it seems the people on benefits are actually benefiting a lot more since Labour have come into power.
But is there something missing from this whole conversation? I want to explore a contrary view in regards to this subject in this video, so let's kick this off by starting how most of us start most days, at work. To understand our relationship with work today, we need to rewind a bit. For most of human history, survival meant subsistence living, agriculture, small communities feeding themselves, families working land together, and life revolving around the seasons instead of schedules. Work was hard, yes, but it was also local, communal, and often flexible. But then came the Industrial Revolution. Factories replaced fields, time replaced seasons, and people moved from self-sufficient rural life to crowded industrialised cities. Your life no longer followed nature, it followed the factory bell. This shift did something huge. It separated work from life. Work stopped being just survival and became a contract, your labour in exchange for wages controlled by someone else. Fast forward to the 20th century and beyond. Office work was added, corporate hierarchies, careers, 9-to-5 routines, performance reviews, all structures designed to maximise your productivity but not necessarily your happiness. And today, even though technology has made you more productive than ever, you still haven't worked any less, you've just been given more to do. Yes, your productivity went up and the expectations on you went up also, but things like time off, your autonomy, or just the ability to say no, you don't want to work at the moment, not so much. And that leads on to my question. What happens if someone simply chooses not to, or they simply don't want to work? In most Western societies, the answer has become really toxic. Not working is often framed as laziness, irresponsibility, or some kind of moral failing. People who reject traditional work are judged harshly, even if they aren't harming anyone by not doing so. And yeah, sure, there's an issue with social safety nets designed to be temporary, designed to help people back into work, and not designed for the idea that a person might simply say, I don't want to do a crappy job, I'd rather sit at home and watch the rain.
Hello everyone, I'm so honoured to be talking to you today.
But should that be an issue? Let me frame it like this. If a person doesn't want to work in the system that we have in place at the moment, and we of course don't want to support them with state resources like welfare, healthcare and education, shouldn't they be allowed to live on the margins and support themselves? Shouldn't they be able to, say, find some land, farm, hunt, build a homestead, all of those fun, hard, back-breakingly laborious things that we used to do as a species to support our own survival? They wouldn't be able to access the perceived benefits of state that is funded by a taxation of the individuals in that state, and if they wanted to, say, get some medical advice from the state, they would have to produce value exchangeable for money and then pay for that medical service as required. If we call ourselves a permissive, tolerant, open society, one that values personal freedom, then shouldn't the freedom not to participate be included, the ability to opt out? That way, people who seem bothered by people not working and being subsidised by benefits, for example, wouldn't feel so aggrieved, and those who genuinely don't want to work in the current system as it is would have an opt-out option. We accept unconventional lifestyles, non-traditional families, alternative beliefs, all kinds of things, but when it comes to work, there's only one acceptable path. You either contribute economically or you're punished socially and always financially. In a genuinely free society, the answer should be yes, you should be able to have the choice to opt out, because this will, A, stop people who work from feeling as though their tax pounds fund people who they feel less deserving of that help, and B, give those who don't want to work in the current system an option to do something else. Some simply don't want to be part of a system that demands the majority of their waking hours in exchange for basic survival, and here's the key. If someone chooses a subsistence lifestyle, say growing their own food, living minimally and contributing little to the economy, but also taking little from it, why shouldn't that be an acceptable alternative to the work option? Modern society offers 1,000 ways to participate, but almost no way to opt out without penalty or stigma, yet nothing is more fundamentally human than you choosing how you want to live. The problem with work isn't that you do it, it's that you have no meaningful way not to do it. A truly permissive society would make room for both options. Those who thrive with busy careers and those who want a quiet, simple existence, because freedom shouldn't be just the freedom to choose your job, it should also be the freedom to walk away from the idea of doing a job altogether. Okay, that's a wrap. Firstly, I want to thank you for watching. Yes, you in particular. Yeah, thank you. So, what do you think? Should opting out of work be a fundamental right? Share your thoughts below, because you never know, something you write down there might change the world. And until next time, stay safe and look after yourselves.